relax for laughing because I wasn't sure if people were really freaked out. So, sorry to Auntie, I had to do it. Okay. Before you start thinking I'm totally irreverent, which I am, but I also know Auntie would want that to happen today. When my sister Sarah and I discussed her wishes for this day, she was at first reticent. No, there would be no need for a gathering. Sarah and I insisted, and she acquiesced under the conditions that it was joyful and fun, no gloom and doom, or too heavy of spirit. And I think we pulled that off, you guys. I'm having a great time. So I've structured the thoughts I would like to share with you today in 3 categories: food, people, and the person. Auntie being the person, of course. It's not about me. Sorry. So let's start with the food, as that's the easiest. Auntie, she was not a foodie, unless it was steak or caviar, which are featured here today. She, like her mother, our grandmother, whom we called Granny, liked what they liked and rarely wavered. If you happened to like something that Auntie didn't like, well, there was something terribly wrong with you. All the foods presented here today, with the exception of the crudité platters, are her favorites.
And the fruit platter.
And the fruit platter. You're so right. Thank you, Nita. That's so true. Our apologies as a family for imposing this menu on you, but likewise, it's only fitting as it's a celebration of the woman that we all loved, and this is her day. That said, she would scoff at me for the vegetables. She claimed she was a super taster and couldn't tolerate the taste of broccoli. Much like one of the heroes in her life, George Herbert Walker Bush. This was, of course, the only thing they had in common. She detested certain vegetables so much that she called them the crucifers. She did this so often, I actually thought it was a category of a vegetable. I literally did. I thought, oh, that's a crucifer. But once again, Auntie out-clevering me, which was actually always the case. So the things she did enjoy are here: Cheetos, only ever crunchy, or you're in big trouble. Hershey Nuggets, only with almonds, or you're gonna get it in the neck. Well, I'm sure that many of you from Park Slope helped source lots of those goodies on many occasions, and thank you very much for that. Other things featured: sausage rolls, pigs in a blanket, beef Wellington, Scotch eggs. When you think about it, it's a wonder she made it to 79 and stayed so slim. There's a lot of pictures here, sorry guys. The only thing we were missing here is a plateau of butter. Literally, she would eat food just for the sake of being able to put butter on it. Her peanut butter sandwiches always had a thick coat of butter. I will miss that. Now to the next category, the people. And this gets harder now, of course. Can I go back to food? I could talk about it forever. So, what wonderful people Auntie had in her life. It's absolutely staggering in the best way possible. I must first start with the amazing people of Lincoln Place. Many of you are here with us today. It goes without saying that I should first start with Dan. And I'm sorry he can't be with us today, but I feel I need to say these words because she would want me to. So thank you, Dan, for everything you've done for Auntie over the years. Tirelessly helping her with everything from Beckett to sorting out her mail to basically looking after her affairs. I won't say the Christian joke that she said in reference to you, as we've all heard it. In my mind, that little jibe was her way of saying that you were an angel on this planet and that her gratitude extended beyond where her words could actually take her, or that she could bear to express. We all knew how great she was with words and how she really hated needing help. Her debt and gratitude to you is enormous. For all of us in her family too, we cannot thank you enough and have a small gift that we'll give to him at a later date, a token of our appreciation. Nita, there you are. You and your children, Ina, Tina, Liza, enrich Auntie's life to no end. Christmas tree hunting together, Costco day trips, glasses of wine discussing the day's news in the garden when you popped over, which you very often did, which she loved. You're a culinary genius, and one of her favorite things to eat was your chicken pot pie. Thank you for the kindness and the love that you bestowed upon her. We are certain that her passing is as difficult for you as it is for us. So thank you. And last, but certainly not least, Jeff and Regina. You met Auntie on the day you moved into 118 Lincoln Place. And Regina was 8 months pregnant, and it was your first child. So it was a very special time. What ensued was decades of kindness and neighborly love that endured and was cherished. Not only did Jeff set her niece up with a job, that niece was me. Jeff was my first boss. He just told me earlier, I was like, I must have been pretty good because you never fired me. And he said, I actually don't fire people. So that's really not the best. Okay, but Jeff, I love you. But Jeff, you set me on a trajectory into the world of finance, and I'm forever in your debt. I still think of you as my benevolent boss, and our banter has never ever changed since the day I worked for you. I still annoy you, but I think you kind of love it. Regina and Auntie shared so many memories and interests, gardening being top of the list. They shared countless hours together discussing their projects and dreams for their outside space. Auntie was also in awe of Regina and what she had achieved for the city and for the community. Auntie never gave false praise, you know that, and she had only glowing things to say about you, Regina. So thank you, Jeff and Regina, for being such loyal and true friends to her, literally since the day you met. I could go on for hours, because it's still long, sorry. It was a day story. About the dear friendships Auntie shared with so many of you Park Slope. And I'm likely going on too long. Okay, so I predicted that correctly. But I would be remiss for not saying a special thanks to Abe, Eliza, who I'm sorry she's not here, probably the weather and the parade, Diane Lifton, and lastly Henry, who so kindly arranged the Stoop Memorial, which I know would have pleased her to no end. Auntie's life was rich and filled with all sorts of people, and now will shift to her days in London. Pat will expand more on this for sure, but a few words from me, if I may. Auntie's London mates meant the world to her. Her time in London enriched her life enormously, as it did mine. Thank you, most notably, to Tom for that. We received so many wonderful messages from her London gang, regaling times of great fun and also mischief. This is where she dated the greats, Bob Dylan and John Lennon. Sometimes she told us she and the blokes had dated in a romantic sense. Sometimes they were just strictly friends. One was never sure. And I think Auntie might not have been sure either. It was the 60s, so for that. What I am certain of, however, that was in London that she developed her signature and intoxicating laugh. It lit up the room and the cockles of our hearts. We have red, white, and blue balloons here today. Not too many because Kathy's allergic, so stay away from them. But they symbolize the two countries she loved the most, the US and the UK. Pev will speak to this and the people in her life better than I could do service, but I know Pev well, and I doubt he'll say too much about himself, so I'm going to do it. Pev, it's confession time. My sisters and I, for years, have called you the perfect one. We are her nieces, but you are her godson. And trust me, in her eyes and ours, you are the next rising of Christ, although, of course, she wasn't religious. Did you ever say or do anything less than amazing? No, you did not. Did the sun rise every morning when your eyes, bluer than the bluest of the purest waters of the world, opened? Yes, it did. You were her oath, friendship bread, a wholly perfect thing that is nourishing and true. And then you got married and it got worse for us. Susanna, the beauty that she is and as accomplished as she is, now with Pev, now the perfect person, and now the perfect powerhouse. Blah, blah, blah. You and Zan and your children brought Auntie so much joy. You really made her a part of your family, and you being here today says it all. Your recent visits from London to spend time with Auntie meant the world to her. She'd be so chuffed that you're here. We're solidly friends forever and family too. A special word from Marta, that was Auntie's housekeeper. Sadly couldn't be here today, she's feeling unwell. But at the end of the speech, I suggest we raise our glasses to her as well. 40 years they were together. I'd also, I think Jenny Wall-Smith's here. I'd like to thank the Wall-Smith clan for coming, near and dear to our hearts. Auntie would be so touched, and one of her places in the world was your homestead, Turkey Point. So if I met you, I just look at you and I know you're my relative, so that's amazing. Now the hardest part, I moved to the immediate family. John and Patty, Joey, Kathleen, Randy, Dylan and Pay, Sarah and Kenny, Bridge and Wynn, and lastly, me and Nancy. We will miss her. We will all miss her dearly. Each in her own ways, as she meant different things to all of us and had a profound impact on all our lives. This is personal, between each of us as individuals and to her directly. I wouldn't ever be able to articulate it, nor should I attempt to do so. A few small points, if I may, though. A huge thank you to Kathleen for being there as caretaker for Auntie for such a long period of time when she needed it most. You did a selfless act and had a difficult period. There's more, but I can't read. I'll send it. And a few words for Sarah. Sarah, you're Auntie's rock for years. I mean, years and years and years and years. You were a healthcare proxy and you managed the role with care and kindness. I think you may know Auntie's better than you may know your own. Probably true. You will likely feel the biggest void, especially in the morning when you and Auntie would write to each other every day without fail, your 3 good things. You two were so incredibly close and you did so much for her, as she did you. I think it's a story of unconditional love, and it's so rare. Today is about sending Auntie off in the best way possible, and that must be especially hard for you. And I just want you to know we've got your back, sister, and count on us. Auntie wouldn't have it any other way. We got you. Love you so much. Last page, guys. It's only half. Over there. Oh, I'm going to say it again, it's going on too long. But hold on. I've forgotten to mention the biggest love of her life. Forgive me for that. To the New York Times. Okay, the final category, the person. Here I go. She was smart as a whip. Auntie passionately loved grammar, literature, her neighbors, politics, her mother, gardens, Siamese cats, anything British, Park Slope, her brother, Sarah Lawrence, her friends, her godson, the New York Times, all of us here today, and of course, butter. She used her words carefully and was her own person before women were really to be like that. Like it or not. I recall one time when someone casually asked her out of sheer politeness, "Hi, Kathleen, how are you?" She glanced, looked at him, and replied, "Adequate." There were also times that she would give you a look, and a glimmer in the eye, and it would be pure magic and laughter, a moment for all time. A force to be reckoned with, a powerhouse, driven and with grit, yet with wit and glee. In a word, she was genuine. A true believer in Doom Sparrow Sparrow, the motto of the Dillon family coat of arms. As we breathe, we hope. Thank you.